But it was great how the Punk match tied into the return of Cody Rhodes himself,
Yeah.
which rocking the Nightmare Family shirt right here,
Beauty.
who's never going to turn heel. But the fact that, I got to say, this was probably the best Cody Rhodes promo that I have seen to date. It's
He
a
cut
tough one
so
to
many
top.
good ones.
He
Oh my
has had he's
gosh.
had countless good ones, but it's just like one after another that are just A+ home runs, as you say, checking all those boxes.
He's
But
incredible
I
on the
mean, he did
mic.
not skip a beat. And we talk about best mic work. This is maybe
He's
one we kind of sadly sometimes gloss over, but not in a bad way. But Cody Rhodes has consistently been one of the best mic workers in AEW. Period. The guy is such a storyteller.
You're right.
Man,
You're right.
he was spitting fire tonight. Man, how he held AEW on its shoulders.
Yep.
If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be a Forbidden Door because he built it. And and he tied it all back together to CM Punk's pipe bomb and how it was planting all
The
those seeds.
story that he told
Oh,
was incredible. It
he
really
told a
was.
great story. He called out a lot of the locker room as well, including the Super Click, the Red Dragon enhancement talents. He
That
put
was
over Jay
nuts.
Lethal, which I absolutely loved. He's putting over Jay Lethal. But everything he was saying is the truth.
Yeah.
And you, as a fan who is booing Cody, there's issues because you don't see what he's done for the company. There wouldn't be in Dynamite on January 19th, 2022 if it wasn't for Cody Rhodes. So I think everyone needs to wise up, get on Team Cody, and start cheering him and stop booing him.
I love it. I love it. If you and I were there, I'd be wearing my heel shirt, you'd be wearing your babyface shirt, and we'd just be hugging and cheering Cody at the same time. And it would be, it would be like Republicans and Democrats sitting together at Thanksgiving, just having a good old time, because we would be able to calm all of our differences and come to a consensus. We
Yeah.
both love Cody. I'd be getting so mad at those guys in the crowd who were like being jerks and like trying to start like a
Cody
shut
sucks chance.
Cody suck, all sorts of chants. I would have been yelling at them to shut up. I would have been that guy, especially get a couple brewskis in me. I would have been going deep at him. But I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this because we've done our annual awards twice now.
You're right.
And it's so easy to fall in line and just bow to and kiss the ring of MJF and say, man, that guy's so good at getting heat. He's a heat magnet. He never makes mistakes. Man, is he great on the mic? And he is.
Yep.
But to your credit, Cody that guy's a storyteller. He knows how to take you on an emotional journey with his promos.
You're right.
I mean, it's not all one note. He'll get you fired up. He's passionate.
You're right.
His storytelling on the mic. I want you to remember this, bro, because at the end of the year, I want you campaigning for your guy, trying to talk Bonds and I into voting for Cody because he deserves it, man. This guy's incredible.
I voted for him for my breakout star of 2022.
So many great promos over the course of his career, especially in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said he was going to be your breakout star of 2022, I was dumbfounded. I was just, how is that? But brother, you see a night like tonight, if he could somehow beat Sammy, what a start for 2022. Woo! You're calling it.
He's going to beat Sammy. I think.
Wow.
This is a tough booking though for that as well. The Sammy versus Cody match, I think it's going to be really epic, and I really want Cody to win so he can keep revisiting some of those past opponents and giving them some fresh faces. Have a match versus Jay Lethal, even though he's already had a title match once. But I don't know, man. Cody's stock is on the rise, and I think that they need to keep pushing that. He never the 2-belt thing is kind of interesting. I think you push Sammy to the back of the line for now. I'm a big fan of Sammy, but I think the Cody Rhodes push and saga is more interesting to me
I'm
right
torn
now.
right? I'm torn because Sammy, why have him win the interim title just to lose to Cody again? And he's a young kid with a lot of upside. And I know that a lot of people like to dog Cody, but that guy has a long history of putting people over and making stars at his expense.
Right.
And, Sammy, I think Sammy maybe lost the belt the first time to Cody. And it was fresh off the heels of some stuff that was going down on social. And I don't want to speculate, but I think that this could be an opportunity where they make Sammy all over again. My thing is, when I talk to you,
Yeah.
I can't disagree with you that I think that there are more interesting matchups with Cody as the TNT champion than as Sammy.
True.
I think that Sammy's the young star. He's, especially in a ladder match, SPD, the Spanish God in a ladder match,
Yeah.
you got to think this kid is going to, and the way he wrestles, you and I talk about it, every time we watch Sammy, every time that kid wrestles, he doesn't get enough credit for being one of the biggest daredevils on the AEW roster. We've talked
Steals the
about,
show.
I'm always the Darby Express, and there are so many guys that are willing to choo-choo. There are so many guys on the AEW roster who are willing to, risk it all and do crazy stuff. The Phoenixes of the world and Darbys of the world, but he doesn't. I don't think that Sammy gets the credit that he deserves with being one of the more, so his matches are always incredibly entertaining. But I challenge you as a listener, if there's a listener out there who's with me on this, who ask yourself honestly, which one of these guys has more interesting title contenders brewing on the surface. I think so much of Cody's last title reign was really consumed by that Malachi Black feud, as Cody talked about in that in his promo. I don't know. They keep
talking about the face of the Revolution ladder match. So that's obviously going to lead up to a ladder match and at the pay-per-view, which is still a ways away, they're building to. So I don't know if that's going to be for the number one contender or actually it's for the belt. And so if it is for the belt, I think that would be kind of cool because we haven't had a ladder match for the belt. We've had it for
I think
shots.
MJF mentioned it.
Yeah.
In his conversation with the War Dog, it's for a title shot. Just like we've seen in the past. So at least that's what I heard from, at least that's what I caught from MJF. But
I think MJF, speaking of that really quick, do they milk out this Wardlow thing till then, and then Wardlow gets the belt and then finally turns on MJF then? Man, it just feels like it's just on the edge, ready to
We've been talking about, man, it feels like Cleveland, it feels like the homecoming for Wardlow.
I feel like they would have announced something. They would have built it up because this is clearly a top-notch star that deserves a build-up.
I hear you.
But man, there's both guys have a lot of great possible matches. But to me, even though Cody's held the belt 2 times already, he's a 3-time champ. I still feel like there's more layers to him right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're right. I think that there's Cody. We talked about it. Is an expert storyteller, and I think that Sammy's storytelling tends to just be more in the ring, and there's not as much of that layered personality yet like Cody has. I would agree.
These are all really good.
This is good. Sharonica brings up great points. Sammy's work rate, Sammy's in-ring work is second to none. So you can list a ton of people that would make great matches with Sammy, but are there a lot of people who make great programs with Sammy? And I guess that's my counterpoint. And maybe you look at the TNT title as if you're the champ, you don't need a program necessarily. You can just take on all comers, and we've seen that in the past, and that works, right? So I think it's more of, what are you looking for in your champion? I'm more of a story guy, right? I like getting invested in the story.